Hi there, Becky here from 168 Fitness. Over the past couple of weeks I've been talking about how to achieve your health, fitness and weight loss goals, and in particular last week we were talking about fitness goals and helping you to get started or continue your progress if you'd already started this year. This week I'm going to talk about running goals. So obviously if your goal is fitness in general, then running may be one of the ways that you want to get fitter. So hopefully today's advice will help you. And if you are entered into a race at all, maybe a 5k, 10k, half marathon, or even maybe a marathon sometime this year, then today's advice may help you with that as well. So I'm going to focus mostly on runners or newbies, people that want to get started with running, but some of my advice will also help you that have already started and perhaps already can run 5 or 10k as well. So to start off with, if you are not currently running but you're quite keen to get started, this time of year isn't always the best to get started because we've got dark mornings and nights, and also it's very cold outside, but it can also be really rewarding as well because you'll feel even better for doing it, getting up and doing it in the dark or in the cold. So I will encourage you to still do it, and also it's never a good time to start running because, well, you'll always be busy and you'll always find an excuse not to do it, but also even if it was warmer in the summer, then it's not always nice to run when it's hot either. So actually you can never really win. So I would encourage you to get started now, and then that will keep you going. If you can get through the winter, you can keep going and perhaps do a race this springtime, and then that will keep you going and hopefully be carrying on running for the rest of the year. So how to get started. Hopefully you've already set a goal like I've talked about in previous weeks. You know why you're starting running, if it's for sort of to help you feel better, if it's help you lose weight, if it's to because you want to be able to run 5k because maybe your partner can do it, maybe your children want to be able to do a park run, maybe you just have always thought of doing running but never quite got into it. Then just make sure you're focused on what the goal is. How far do you want to run? How long do you want to be able to run for? Whether that's a short-term goal, medium-term goal, long-term goal, or whatever it is. Have the goal in mind, and then you've just got to get started. So how you would get started is also setting that first run session date, whether it's tonight, whether it's at the weekend, whenever's going to work for you time-wise, and whenever you think, yeah, I can really see myself doing that. If you need to run in daylight, then obviously you're going to be a bit more restricted about time, and if you're working 9 to 5, then you're going to have to plan it in a bit better, but make sure you've planned that date in for that first run session. And then if you are absolutely brand new to running, then the first thing I would suggest that you do is, obviously you're going to need some kit and everything, but assuming you've got all that ready, and you don't need to spend a lot of money on kit, by the way, just make sure you've got some comfortable clothing and warm enough clothing as well if it is cold, and some comfortable trainers as well, and you're going to need a bit of a stopwatch as well, whether that's your watch on your clock or your phone, the clock on your watch or your phone, or some kind of stopwatch so that you can time, because what I'm going to get you to do is to go out and just set off at a really nice comfortable pace. You should be able to still perhaps be able to hold a conversation, or at least try and hold a conversation. You shouldn't feel like you're gasping for breath whilst you're starting off running, and I just want you to run for as long as you can, basically, whether you're tracking distance or you're tracking the time. I want you to just see how far or how long you can run for without stopping, and there's absolutely no expectations on that. Sometimes people will be able to run 30 seconds, and sometimes people will be able to run 5k non-stop. It depends what level you're coming in at. If you've run previously, or if you're currently doing some other forms of exercise, and obviously that's going to help, and you're going to be fitter than someone who's not been doing other exercise or has never run before. But it's okay, whatever level you come in at, the main thing is that you build up and you keep going, and you get to where you want to be eventually. So you've just got to find out where that starting level is, because there's no point me sort of giving advice to you saying build up 30-second intervals or 5-minute intervals or whatever, because everyone's going to be at a different level. So the main thing is to start off and do that first session by the end of this week. I want you to have done that first session, find out how far you can run, how long you can run non-stop, and then that's your marker. So the next time you run after that, you'll aim to do at least that far, and aim to build on a little bit more as well. But the main thing is, do that first session. You can either let me know how you got on, or you can just keep following my advice in future weeks about improving and progressing. But the main thing is, do that session, see where you're at, feel good for doing that first session, because the first one's always the hardest. Even just getting out the door is hard work and a lot of effort involved. So just make sure you do that first session. And then next week I'm going to give you some next steps on achieving your running goals, because I need you to not rush too far ahead and try and take on too much information in one go. One other thing, well, two things as well that I think will help you as well with your first session is to make sure when you're running that you keep your head up and keep looking forward. Don't be looking at the floor. And it's really easy to forget that one, because actually once you start getting tired, your core muscles, your sort of stomach muscles, back muscles that help with posture start to get tired, and then you will start to potentially be sort of hunched over looking down at the floor rather than looking forward, and that's not going to particularly help you whilst you're running, to be not looking forward. So make sure that you're keeping nice and relaxed in your posture, head up, chest up, and look where you're going. Give yourself something to aim for, whether that's a lamppost or a traffic light, or whatever it is in the distance, a signpost. Have something to focus on, so that when you run in, you're keeping your head up and you've got good posture. That's my first thing. And then the second thing that a lot of people go wrong with is not thinking about your breathing. So I always encourage people to focus on breathing out whilst you're running. So I'll just give you a little demo. It'll be something like that, rather than which doesn't feel very nice. And even sat down doing it like that, it feels like you can't get enough oxygen in, and then obviously that's not a nice feeling. You're going to more likely stop if you feel like you can't breathe and can't get enough air in. So if you focus on the breathing out like that, it's a lot more relaxing, and you'll always take some air in afterwards, because your body knows to take air in. It's just that you're helping to stay relaxed, you're helping to keep a good breathing rhythm, so you're not holding your breath and you're not hyperventilating, and you could be able to keep going. So two things: keeping your head up, chest up, good posture, and then also focusing on the breathing out to help you keep going. And then just see how you feel, see how you get on, and just feel good for doing that first session. And then I'll be back next week with the next steps on how to progress and with your running goals. So enjoy that. I'll see you next week.